What's generally the dumbest thing you have done as a child? Parents would not let me have a dog. Being the little problem solver I was, I proceeded to stare into the sun to try and blind myself so I would need a guide dog. It did not work. But I got a dog. Got in the deep freezer while playing hide and seek. I thought it was the perfect spot because no one would think to look there. Luckily they did, or else they would have found a 5-year-old's frozen body next to the turkey next time they opened it. I skipped rope with rollerblades on. I broke my wrist. New Olympic sport, gymnastics. This needs to be a thing. It is, and it's called the Pain Olympics. Please do not look it up. Okay, I changed my mind. It does not need to be a thing. School ended and I saw my older sister take off in her car. Tried screaming to her to give me a ride home, but she did not hear me. I started walking home when I saw her driving around and threw my book bag at the car to stop her. Smashed the windshield. She was not happy. I had my little brother play vacuum cleaner with me. Okay, that sounds wrong, where we sniffed the floor and pretended to be vacuum cleaners. He ended up getting a giant bead from an old-fashioned pearl necklace stuck in his nose and he had to go to the ER to get it out. Also had my cousins and brother run backwards with me down a dirt rocky driveway and my cousin fell and broke her wrist. Also had to go to the ER. I think the few dumb things I did typically affected other people more than myself, so. The song Holly Jolly Christmas commanded me to drink a cup of cheer. Cheer is a detergent. I drank a cup of cheer. Thank you poison control for existing. Not me, but I accidentally tricked my younger brother into smacking a cactus. I do not remember how old we were, maybe 3 and 5, but I remember we started talking about how a cactus hurts when you touch it. I told him that I could touch the cactus without getting stung. I kept moving my hand really quick next to it to make it look like I touched it. He watched in amazement as I touched the cactus. But he gets this puzzled look on his face. Next thing I know, he swings his hand back really dramatically and then proceeded to slap it like it did him wrong in a past life. For a brief moment, we sat in awe. His hand looked like he high-fived a porcupine. He looked up at me with this bitter look of betrayal and started screaming. I felt really bad, but I could not help laughing at how freaking dumb it was. Microwave noodles. In a metal pot. When I was about 4 to 5, my mum was talking to my granny on the phone. It was one of those handheld phones on the square thing, and she was in the room that was not close to the wall, so she had brought the whole phone with her. Honestly, I think I just wanted to see what would happen. It was a science experiment to me. So I took a pair of scissors and just cut the cord. I remember my mum continuing to talk for a few seconds, then stop and say hello. Before she came out to see me standing there with a pair of scissors in one hand and the end of the cord in the other. It was not that dumb in terms of what kids do, but it was like I had an epiphany that I had the ability to do some vert dumb things. Stuck my finger in the power outlet and then again. I think I might have a fetish. I guess you could not resist. Resist what? That hurts. Hopefully not too frequently. I set fire to our family's garage door at 9 years old. If it were not for a neighbor, our house would be gone. I set fire to the curtains in a hut under the house. But I knew what I was doing. I brought water and everything. My mum didn't see it that way. I wanted to know what light tasted like, so I licked a light bulb and ended up with a burned tongue. How did it taste? Like dust, mostly. Try new light, it tastes better. I threw a firecracker into the toilet. I was told that the firecracker would have extinguished. It did not. We had to change it. For another firecracker. The parents obviously changed the kid. I was 5. I wanted to stay in my parents' room because that's where I loved staying the night. They said no and wanted me to sleep in my own bed for once. I wonder why. Me, being the bright little 5-year-old I was, decided that I needed to make them think that staying with them was best for my safety. I told them that there was a guy climbing the car outside my window. I guess I thought they would be satisfied with simply taking me back into their room. Boy, was I wrong. Very soon, we had a number of cops on our property with flashlights. To my 5-year-old memories, the whole SWAT team was there with dogs and guns. Who knows how many cops there really were. Maybe 2 or 3. The point is, I got to stay in my parents' room that night. Sprayed myself with my mom's pepper spray when I was a kid, then proceeded to scream and run around the house, knocking things over until my mom found me. In my defense, I just thought the spray was perfume. Ignored my parents' good advice. Brush your teeth, try and keep a good life routine, take care of your body and your health. And I spent way too much time learning Klingon to insult other kids. Pushed in the cigarette lighter in the car. When it popped out, I looked at it and saw it red hot, figured I would stick my thumb onto it to feel it. My younger brother did that, except he held it to his ear to see what it sounded like. I bet it sounded like screaming from your perspective. I set my dad's laptop to factory setting, thinking that it would gain full control of the nearest factory. A lot of things were lost that day. Hackerman. I roasted a marshmallow on a gas hob. Not so stupid until I realized I had used a metal fork as a skewer. My lips completely blistered and burst. When I was super little, my mouth stuck on the bathtub faucet. My two top and bottom teeth had just grown in. Andy guessed my aunt was giving me a bath. She needed to grab something and look it away for a second. When she looked back, there I was. Haha. I also had a headbutting phase. Isn't that fun? Duct taped 6 Axe body spray cans together. Punctured them with knives, lit it on fire and ran. Huge fireball explosion behind the local grocery store. My dumb friends and I scatter and watch from across the street as all the cops in the neighboring town comes to investigate. So close to death and did not realize until tonight.